The Light Infantry shooting competition is just around the corner, so we are getting our gear ready, and there are some changes that we made for this year. First, let's go to the rifles. This is my Schmeisser rifle, same as I used last year. There are a couple of differences. First, I changed the PDW stock to a normal stock. It's definitely more ergonomic, easier to use, and lighter. The weight that I save on the stock, I put in the scope. I changed out the primary arms for the Integrix 1-8 LPVO with a 34mm tube, so there's more light transmission, better picture. The reticle is first focal plane, and it also has some hash marks in MOA, so I can do corrections. With better picture quality, this scope also brings some additional weight, but hopefully this trade-off will be worth it, because the organizers are planning 2 of the stages this year for 400 and 500 meters. If I can make at least one hit at those distances, it will pay off. To reduce some weight elsewhere and get better functionality, I went with the Silent Steel flow-through suppressor. It's great for 2 things. First, it's lighter than the Strela that we used last time. And the second thing, you'll have to censor this for YouTube. It has a flow-through technology, which means that it creates less back pressure on the gun and getting less gas in your eyes and ears and mouth and everything where you shoot. That's a plus. We did some testing, some initial zeroing, everything seems fine. The overall weight of the rifle is kind of the same as last year. For the second rifle, we're going with the wind and weaponry again, but also a couple of changes. We changed up the red dot. So first we were using the Holosun 503. This is the micro dot, the small one. It worked okay, but it had some limitations. The targets are over 100 meters away, and there are small metal plates hidden in grass. And even this red dot with a 3 times magnification sometimes was not enough to locate and find the target and shoot it. So first we went with the Holosun 530, which has a bigger objective lens. You get more light through it, you can see better, and also there is not so much visible tint. This big thing on the rear is the Falke 5X magnifier. It's a 5 times magnifier that does just this. It magnifies your picture by 5 times. It is heavy, but since it has a much bigger objective lens, it has more light transmission, and you get better, clearer picture, especially in low light situations. So hopefully this will help us this year to find the targets faster and get good solid hits. This year we're going with the Tor MK2 suppressor from Valhalla Industries. This one is almost half as lighter as the Strela that we used last year, but it also has a kind of hybrid flow-through technology. It has baffles, but some of the baffles are not solid, so you get less blowback essentially. We really like the 3 times magnifier from Holosun. It's light, it's very durable, but it just doesn't have enough light transmission and doesn't have enough magnification for our needs. 2 years ago, on the first Light Infantry competition, I actually used an all-light flashlight on my rifle, which worked kinda okay. It held up to all of the abuse. It was dunked in mud, in water, it was bumped a couple of times, worked great. Why we changed to Ace Beam, and we are very happy with it, and we are also using it this year, is because this light has a bit more lumens. It has 1500 lumens, I think maybe even more. It has a very narrow beam, very focused, and a very long throw. And since most of the targets that we'll be shooting at night are at 100 meters and more, this will really help. Also, the mounting choice is intentionally further away from the barrel. You actually want to have the light as far away from your suppressor as possible, because when you turn it on at night, a lot of the light can reflect from the suppressor to your optic and actually blinds you. We experienced that the first year. One of the tricks is also that since we're shooting in pairs, one of the pairs finds the target, illuminates it, and a second from the pair has his light off and actually shoots at the targets. That's a more effective way that we found out, but it also helps that if you have a smaller diameter suppressor and the light further away. No big changes with the belt setup. For the holsters, we're still using the battle-known solutions. The level 2 Kydex retention holster. This is just a must for this kind of competition, so you don't lose your handgun. For the gear and clothing, I think the biggest change for me this year will be the boots. I just got these recently, so hopefully they'll work okay. These are Garmont boots, got them from Perunica. They were able to get me a pair that is a special wide model, so it's wider than normal boots. Everything that I tried, even the Lovas, they were too narrow for me. And when I walk for miles and miles and miles, my toes start to kind of squish together and rub together and I get blisters. With these, I really hope that there's enough space here that this will not happen. Also, I made a bold decision and went for boots without Gore-Tex. So these do not have Gore-Tex. They're kind of made more as summer boots. They ventilate better, so hopefully that will help keep my feet dry. Now, if it rains or there's a shitload of water and mud, then I'll have a hard time. But hopefully this solves my issue. We really like the new model of the MCDU pants from Helicontex, but after wearing them for some time and comparing them with the OTP, what we used last year, we decided to go with the OTP. These pants are really good, but they have a lot of unnecessary pockets that we don't need, and they are about 200 grams heavier than the OTP pants. These are the outdoor tactical pants or something like that from Helicontex. This is their older model, and the whole pant is made from their Versa Stretch material, which is very thin, it's elastic, and it's also very, very durable. These are my first OTP pants that I got many years ago. I still use them. They don't even have any tears in them. Only the camo and color is a bit worn out. So why the OTP pants? Not just that they are lighter. If you get these pants wet and you have them on when you're walking, they dry out really quickly. So this is a very good feature because this year we want to go light and we probably won't have any spare pants carrying with us. So essentially you have one pair. If you get wet, you have them on and you are wearing them until they dry out.
Yeah.
For the upper part, we went with the Range polo shirt. We actually use this exact model as Polenar Tactical Shooting Team. We just use it in black. It's great because it's constructed from very light mesh material that breathes. It has a stretch material at the sides and some extra mesh in the armpits area. We went with this material because again it's also moisture wicking and we intend to wear it until it dries out. Both the pants and the shirt have a place to insert protectors for your knees and your elbows. For carrying mags, ammo and essentials, there's no change here. We're still going with the multi-gun competition rig from Helicontex. This is the perfect size and weight for what we need. We don't need a ton of equipment here. We just need something to hold our mags, maybe some basic stuff, and also not interfere with the rucksack. This will also be a major change for me because last year I used a much bigger rucksack. I just took more gear with me, kind of planned with a different mindset. This is a much smaller backpack. I think the standard capacity for this one is around 25 liters, but we're also adding some extra pouches to the side. One potential problem for me with this backpack could be it has a very basic waist strap because I'm used to bigger, bulkier waist straps, because with more weight, I want to put all of the weight on my waist and then just carry the backpack light on the shoulders. So this is something that I'm a bit worried about. But essentially, I'm hoping that with reduced weight in the backpacks, this should not be such an issue. One great thing about this backpack is that it has an internal aluminum spine here. It's small, light, but it keeps the backpack in a proper shape. If I need some extra storage for fast access items or admin stuff, maps, compass and similar, I will use this front pack as an admin pouch. Up here, it can open up and I can use it for the map, for my mobile phone, and all the other stuff that I may need during our hiking and finding the points. This is the same thing that I used last year. It proved to be very valuable, and it gives you a lot of mobility and flexibility when you're walking. So you don't have to take the ruck off, get stuff out, you just have it here, open it up, and works like a charm. Despite what we said last year, after much consideration, we decided not to bring any sleeping gear with us, so no pads, no sleeping bags, no BV bags, nothing, because essentially there will be almost zero time for sleeping, and if we find some time, it just doesn't make sense to bring so much extra weight. This Wolfhound hoodie gives us an option to get warm at night or after the canoe stage, and also if you put this on and everything else that you have, you can lie down essentially on the ground and sleep for half an hour, I think, without a problem. Last year I didn't have this option and I almost got hypothermic at the last shooting stage in the morning. So this will give us an option to maybe snooze off for a couple of minutes, but also to warm up. We decided to bring this thing with us because it's soft, you can compact it in a very small package, it's light, and the Klima Shield Apex Loft Isolation, whatever the material inside is, even if it gets wet, it can still provide some of the isolation thermal properties. So even if we get wet, we can still use this effectively. We already have a couple of different gloves from Helicontex which work fine, but for this light infantry competition I wanted to try something new. These are their urban tactical gloves. They advertise them as being very tough for rugged use, and the second thing, they have neoprene backing, so even if they get wet they can still provide some warmth to your hands. This is our gear selection for this year, and I personally think it's quite good. But I would like to hear your feedback. Do you think we'll have any problems with this gear? Will I again suffer from terrible blisters? Will we fail at the canoe stage? Maybe go for a dive? I don't know. Let us know in the comments below what are your predictions. Next week we're doing this 36 hours again, no sleep. It will be terrible. I mean, fun. Really, really fun.